Hi everybody, Mike Pfeiffer. Robin and I were kind of in a dilemma in our new Flagstaff FD, 19FD. We needed a place to put the little coffee maker, and there's not a lot of counter space in here. So I'm going to show you what I've come up with and hopefully take you through making it. And this would work in just about any RV where you have this type of arrangement. So let me turn this around and see what I can get for you. Okay, here's our problem, is the coffee maker, while it will sit here on this edge, after we get where we're going, you can't turn the faucet off. So what we were going to do is put a little flip-up shelf here, but the flip-up shelf would then get in the way of the electric plug. So I was trying to think, what could I use, and I was sitting here looking at the cover for the sink. I said, what kind of material would be similar to what is in here? Well, what I decided to do is take the cover to the sink and have it to where I can move it to right there. I can put the coffee maker cord right down through the hole and plug it into the outlet there, and then remove this and put it back on the sink during travel. And what I'm going to do that is, let me put this back over here, or at least my plan is, and we'll see how it works out. I got some aluminum angle, and we're going to put aluminum angle along here, screwed into this, just thick enough to be able to get the cover under there, which is about 3/8 of an inch thick. Maybe it wasn't, yeah, maybe it's about 3/8. And then I'm going to take that angle bracket, bend it, and run it right along here, and screw it in right about here and here and here, a few places. Then when I slide this in, if this makes sense, then when I slide this in, and I don't have enough hands, but back in this corner right here, I'm going to drill a hole down through this sink cover, through the aluminum, and I will drop a hinge pin, aluminum hinge pin down through there to hold this in place and keep it from sliding out, and just make sure that it doesn't flip out of there. So I'm hoping that'll work, and we're going to give it a shot, and let's get started, and I'll give you a bill of materials and kind of take you through the progress. Okay, this is the aluminum angle that I picked up from Lowe's. You can see it's a number 6430. It's 1/16 inch thick and 1 by 1 by 3 feet, and pretty much looks like that. It will be mounted in there like so. This will be just below the countertop surface, and the sink cover will slide right on top of this in between the bottom of the counter. Okay, and what we're going to do, and actually it turns around this way. It's going to bend right there where that mark is. I'm going to scribe that for a bend. I'm going to cut this at a 45 right here, and this will be bent at a 45. This piece from my hand to that edge will go along underneath the countertop, and like I said, the sink cover will slide in here like so and be captured by the sink top, which is up here. Then this will be bent at a 45, go around the corner. It'll sit right on the other end, will sit right on top of this with the hole in it, and this will be screwed to the wall, and then I'll round this in down here so we don't run into it when we get in and out of the bed. And then these are the stainless steel screws, and the only reason I bought stainless steel is because I happen to be standing right by them, and I thought that the color went well with the aluminum finish on this. Then I also got some 3.5 inch hinge pins. Now, while these are steel, they still have a sort of an aluminum finish, and what will happen is I will drill a hole down through the countertop, through this piece that's going to be rounded here, and then this pin will simply be stored in the silverware drawer and just drop down through there to keep the shelf from pulling out this way. And it will, because it's captured in a corner, it will also not allow it to come out this way. At least that's the theory. We'll see how this works out. But there's your bill of materials. Gatehouse 0308895 on the hinge pins. They're 3.5. That's the shortest ones I could find. And I'm just going to leave them that length and drop them down through the hole. These are Weathermax stainless steel screws, 10 by 3/4, 7 pieces in there. I think I'm going to use 4 on one side and 3 on the other side of my bend. And that should be more than sufficient. Don't have to worry about them corroding or rusting. And really those are the 3 components besides drilling some holes and putting some screws in. I'm also going to cut the aluminum, or attempt to cut the aluminum with my Dremel tool with a carbide wheel here. Sometimes that carbide wheel clogs up, but we're going to see how it works out, and I'll show you the finished product, and hopefully when I get this installed it'll work and I can show you guys the finished product. Okay, just to let you guys know, the Dremel tool worked good at a low speed to cut right through the aluminum. So now we're going to make the 90-degree bend, and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, it's only taken me a couple of minutes and I've managed to cut my 245-degree angles out of there. I got a little bit out of control and snagged the aluminum underneath there, but it won't show very much. I did run down there with the bit a little bit, so it'll be easier to bend and bend on the angle, I hope. So let's bend it and see what it looks like. Well, good news and bad news. It did bend and it is going to work. The bad news is I was hoping it would stay together, but it's not annealed very well, so it broke along the line. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a piece of tape on it, at least temporarily, or maybe just leave it there when I screw it up there, to keep it together in the direction I want it. Now, this side here will go up against the cabinet, and this side will go up against the wall. So I'll show you what happens when I get that far. Okay, I'm out here in the camper now, and I've already got a line marked across here. The first thing I did was I put the level on top of the counter here to make sure that the trailer was level front to back. I don't care too much about side to side because I'm assuming that this is leveled this way. But nevertheless, I had to make sure that the camper's level so that I can, when I put the level on the shelf is level with the countertop. So what I did is I basically just took upside down with the lip up, took the shelf or the cutting board that goes in the sink and set it up tight against the bottom of the shelf here, put the level on the top, and let's see here. I guess you can see the level a little bit, but anyway, I don't know if you can see it well enough. But nevertheless, I just tilted the shelf up and down until the shelf was level, this side of it over here. And when I did that, then I went ahead and took a pencil and marked along here and marked so that when I put the aluminum in, is what I'm trying to say, it'll make the shelf level. So I've got my marks, and now I'll show you kind of what the bracket will look like attached. Here's the completed bracket, and it will go something like that once I screw it on. I think you can see that in there. Okay, then the shelf, once this is attached, the shelf will just slide in there and I'll pin it here. The only thing I'm going to have to do, and let me see if I can move the camera, is back in this corner, I'm going to have to take out this little piece of trim right here. I'm going to have to cut that with a knife and take this little piece of trim off so that my bracket will go back in the corner and not stick out from the wall. In other words, it'll go like that. Okay, if I hold the bracket up like so, as if it were screwed in there, you can see that the shelf will just slide right in like so, nice and tightly, and that's how it'll be held up. So, let me get to mounting this, and I'll keep you informed here. Okay, everybody, I checked behind here, and this stuff is pretty thin, but it does have a ridge along the top that it's screwed to, but I can't make that. So what I'm probably going to have to do is take the drawer off, take this, let me see, take this drawer out so that I can reach in there and either put a wood block or something behind this to screw into, make it a little more sturdy, or something like that. But anyway, in the meantime, I have rounded the edge. That's going to be the outer edge here so we don't catch on it. I have also rounded just a little bit this other edge, which is going to be underneath the counter here, but just rounded it anyway. I also held it up there in place, put the shelf in place with the hole in the back, and realized that I need to make a cut here so that the cord will drop down through easily. So I'm going to go in and try and make that cut before I screw this thing on, and I'll be right back. Okay, everybody, you can see that I have marked down about 1/4 of an inch below the bottom of the pieces here, and drilled 3 holes in each one. Now we're going to get the first piece mounted, and then I'll try mounting this piece. And I'm going to try them without any anchors or anything, and we'll see how they hold. If need be, I can take it back down at another time and put some anchors in and hold it in, but we'll see how it holds up. And by the way, I did look behind there to see if there was any wiring or anything, which there is not. Now let's see if the shelf fits very snugly. All I gotta do is get my other piece mounted, and we'll see how this project's gonna go. And we want to run them in, not over tighten them too much. Seems to be pretty tight there. Let's get a couple more in. Make sure the other end is even, which it looks like it is, this end right here. Make sure the joint comes together properly. Oops. That's what happens when you use stainless steel screws. The magnet doesn't hold them. Take it nice and slow. And there we have what appears to be a pretty sturdy bracket. Okay, everybody, here's the moment of truth. We're going to slide this in and see how she fits. Slide it in from the outside. Wiggle it around a little bit, and now it's sitting on there, just free sitting on there, and even just sitting on there with no pin in it. I'm going to put the pin down through it just to keep it from coming out, you know, being able to pull out or pull even sideways. It shouldn't be able to. Let's see, if I put the pin over here, there's no way it'll be able to pull out. So I'll probably put the pin on this side, but nevertheless, the pin will be just there to keep the shelf from falling out. But let's see if the plan works here. Okay, everybody, I got the hole drilled, as you can see, in the aluminum here, and a corresponding hole in the shelf. Slide the shelf in, nice and snug. Drop the pin through. Now the shelf can't come out either way, because it binds against the wall if you try and pull it this way, outward, and obviously you can't pull it this way. So that's pretty much the finished shelf, and I hope you've enjoyed this. And we'll put the coffee maker back on just so that we make sure everything is still fitting. Then all we have to do is go under and plug the coffee maker in underneath. I think it's going to work out just fine. We can operate the sink now. And of course it won't ride here. This will ride up in the cabinet and this will go back on the sink. But it's just repurposing the sink cover. Well, everybody, I hope you've enjoyed this repurposing and making a small shelf here, additional shelf in our FD, and it's a Flagstaff 19FD. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I hope it helps some of you with an idea. It seemed to work here, and I don't see why it wouldn't work in any other trailer where you have a corner area like that and want to repurpose the sink cover. It should be fine to do anywhere. You got to keep in mind you can't put anything real heavy on it, but it does give you a little more space to set dishes or the coffee maker, whatever you need. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time.